Hi guys, today's video is going to be a brief introduction to indices. I'm working at around A-level GCSE standard, so I'm assuming you've seen them before. So I'm just going to do a brief recap, what they are, how we use them, and then I'll introduce you to the laws and the rules that you'll need to know for your A-level exam. Okay, so for Core 1 and beyond, you'll need it for your whole A-level. So I'll just quickly go over a recap, and then I'll introduce you to rules 1 and 2 properly, and then I'll, in the next video, do 3, 4 and 5. Okay, so what are indices? They're a really simple way of expressing large numbers easily. So, for example, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 can be expressed as 2 to the power 4. Now, obviously in this case, sometimes it's not necessary, like this number's just 16, you could just write 16. But for example, a million can be written as 10 to the power of 6 instead of, writing out a big long number, which can get messy and confusing if you're using that in lots of sums. So that's one area where it would be useful. So this number here, we have to distinguish two parts. The large number at the bottom, which we call the base, and the little number at the top, which we call the index. Now, it's really important that you know that they have to be distinguished, because the rules I'll introduce you to later can only be applied to numbers with the same base. Okay, so the same big number at the bottom. So what does this mean? Well, it tells us the index, this little number, tells us how many of the base we're multiplying together. Okay, so this number tells us we are multiplying 4 2's together. Okay, so here we've just got 4 2's multiplied together. Okay, and that's really, it's really simple, it's really easy to understand. So for example, like I said with a million, 10 to the power of 6 tells us we've got 6 10's multiplied together. Okay, so 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 gives you a million. So hopefully that's not too confusing, and you've got that. I'm going to go on to the first two rules now that you'll need to know for your exam. Again, if you've got any questions, just leave a comment below, and I'll hopefully get back to you as soon as possible. So rules 1 and 2 are, the first rule, a to the power of b, so any number to the power of a different number, multiplied by any number, the same base, multiplied by to the power of a different number, is equal to the same base again to the power of the sum of the two indices. Okay? And rule 2, very similar. So a to the power of any number divided by a to the power of another number is equal to a, same base, to the power of b minus c. Okay? So you just got to remember that these are opposites. Multiplication gives you the sum of the indices, and division gives you the difference of the indices. Okay? So now we're going to look at these questions I've got on the left hand side. If you want to pause the video and give them a try, that's up to you, and then I'll go through them and you can see if you got them right or not. So this first one, we've got x to the power of 4 multiplied by x to the power of 3. Now, as I said before, we can only use these rules if the base is the same, and the base is x in both cases, so that's absolutely fine. We can use the rule. So going by rule 1, the answer is the same base to the power of, it's a multiplication, the sum of the indices. Okay, and to the power of 4 plus 3, that's to the power of 7. Okay, very simple. This next question, we've got the same base, we've got a 2 and a 2, but this one doesn't seem to have a power. Now, if you've got a number on its own, that's the same as that number to the power of 1. So a is equal to a to the power of 1. Okay, so 10 is equal to 10 to the power of 1. They mean the same thing. So we can, to help us, just put a power of 1 up there, since they equal each other. And now, again, it just looks like the simple question above. So the answer is the same base to the power of the sum of the indices, which is 3 plus 1 is 4. Okay. This next one's a little bit tricky, because we've got two things to look out for. The negative index, it's minus 1, and these two factors here as well. Okay. So first of all, we can rearrange it. We can write it out as 4 times 3 times t cubed times t to the power of minus 1. Okay, just changing the order of the multiplication. And then here in the brackets, we've got something that looks a little more familiar. So our answer is 12 multiplied by the thing in the bracket. Now what is the thing in the bracket? It's two numbers with the same base, okay? So it's t is our answer. It's going to have the same base, t to the power of the sum of the indices, which is 3 plus minus 1, which is 2, okay? And it's just convention, if we've got a number in this sort of form, we leave out the multiplication sign. So just 12t squared is how we leave that. So that's our final answer for that one. Okay, now we're going on to the division. A little bit different, but very similar. We've got here s to the power of 4 divided by s to 3. So again, we check to see if the base is the same. It is, so we can use rule number 2. Okay? So that's just s to the power of b minus c. So 4 minus 3 is just 1. Okay? And as we said, any number to the power of 1 is just the number itself, so we just leave that as s. Okay? Now here, with first check, are the bases the same? No, they're not. So that actually means we can't use either of the rules, and that's as simply as we can leave it. You can't simplify that any further. Okay, so this last question, again, a little bit tricky. We've got factors and negative index up here. So we can immediately see, if we write it out in this form, sort of fractional form, it helps to see what cancels with the factors. So the 4 and the 2 cancel, so then we just have 2p to the 6 over p to the minus 3. Okay, and now if we write it back out in the same form as the rule is, it'll help us see what we need to do there. So we've got 2p to the 6 divided by p to the minus 3. Okay, so our rule still stands. We've got 2 multiplied by p to the 6 divided by p to the minus 3. Okay, and our thing in brackets, it's just what we've got in the rule above. So the answer is 2p, same base, and to the power of b minus c. So 6 minus negative 3 is 6 plus 3, which is 9. We've got 2p to the power of 9. Okay? So that's it, we're done with the questions. Hopefully all that made sense. If it doesn't, again, leave a comment below. If you visit scribbleteach.co.uk, you can get these rules on flashcards to print out. And in the next video, I'll do rules 3, 4, and 5 for you. So I'll see you then.